Hello everyone, I am Jian and I'm very happy to join this conference. And this is my article with Harozila. The article title is A Visual Language Genesis of Traditional Miao Batik Pattern, a Formalist Aesthetic Perspective. Now I will present the research finding of this study to everyone. I hope you will provide your valuable comments. First, I need to introduce the two authors. Actually, the relationship between us is that Harozila is my supervisor. I'm her PhD student. We are in UPSI, Malaysia. This is our relationship and our introduction. Briefly, this article focuses on visual analysis of Miao Batik pattern. The field comes from Laura and Pentax 5 desire principles. The method is qualitative visual analysis. Our research finding is that the Miao Batik pattern shows stable formal strategy and also shows the culture meaning. The contribution of this article may be linked the visual form with aesthetic culture. This is the introduction page. First, we have to introduce the Miao Batik to everyone. Miao Batik is an important intangible cultural inheritance in China with a very long history. But recent years, it faced both opportunity for academic research and policy support, as well as challenge such as traditional pattern form becoming unsuitable for contemporary aesthetics. Now you can see the root of this problem lies in the pattern issue. Therefore, research on the formalist language can help solve this problem. However, most existing research emphasizes on the cultural aspect, while lacking the systemic research from a formalist perspective. Now, we can see that the existing research include the research on the aesthetic identity and the symbol meaning, the research on the cultural protection, the research on the technical and the craftsmanship, the research on the market and the industry, the research on the decorative aesthetic analysis. So there's almost no research related on the formalist. This is the main point of this research gap. So we have to address these two core questions. First, how do the traditional pattern of Miao Batik embody formalist aesthetic features? Second, how do such formal features support and contribute the expression of Miao aesthetic culture and the traditional Chinese philosophy? You can see that one question is that formal feature exists. Another one is that the meaning of this feature hold. So we can see the two questions actually the same, step by step. The data of this study were taken from the official website of ICH Explore China, and the method will use visual analysis. The theoretical framework primarily used Laura and Pentax formalist aesthetic while comparing with a very similar theory proposed by a Chinese scholar. His name is You-Xining. The secondary framework consists the traditional Chinese philosophy and aesthetics, such as Confucian, Taoist, and focus symbolist. And this secondary framework just additional. Within the consumption framework, I primarily use Laura at Pentax 5 formalist principles, which are unit, emphasize and focal point, scan and proportion, balance, and reason. These principles are quite similar as a Chinese scholar's principle of formalist element. The secondary framework is the traditional philosophy thought such as Confucian and Taoist. Through this research, what we find? We find regarding the research question 1, the Miao Batik pattern achieved the unity through the integration of programmed modeling and the unity of compositional logic. Miao Batik pattern achieved focus through the use of contrast in the brightness and light. The Miao Batik create population difference through the contrast of main and secondary pattern and the density variation. The Miao Batik achieve vision balance through different form of symmetry. The Miao Batik create rhythmic change through consistent fine light and occasional cracks. Regarding the research question 2, we find that this formation both support aesthetic identification and heritage transmission. They also represent the social order, symbolize harmony, and cultural functions. Here are the details of our analysis. The first finding is in the variable of unity. Although Miao Batik display a great difference in subject matter and scan, but it maintains a unified overall style through stylization, abstraction, and symbolism. They reflect the Confucius concept of harmony without uniformity. The second finding is in emphasis and focal point. Through the contrast of color and contrast in light density, Miao Batik has created a clean visual focal point. It is not just a formal guide. It also symbolizes the concept of core and order in Miao culture. The third is scan and proportion. The combination of pattern in different size and the variation in light density create a clean level of proportional relationship. It reflects the Confucius principle that exists is as bad as deficient by focus on the harmony and moderation. The fourth is balance. Whether in single pattern or combination of patterns, Miao Batik all emphasize symmetry and balance. This include axial symmetry, radial symmetry, and particle symmetries. It reflects the Miao people's desire of harmony with nature, in line with the Taoist conception of the order of heaven and the earth. The fifth is rhythm. The fine and consistent line of Miao Batik create a sense of stability, while the accidental variation caused by cracks during the production bring changes. This fusion of order and accident perfectly reflected Zhuangzi's philosophy wisdom, the form of the formless and the formlessness of form. Now, I had already introduced the analysis process of this article. I think the theoretic contribution of this article bring the formalist aesthetic into the research of aesthetic art, filling this academic gap. In terms of the method, it established an analysis pathway linking form language and aesthetic culture, and also provide a framework of intangible cultural heritage aesthetic research. But to be honest, we also have some limitation. It include the scope of the pattern selection is too limited, and the methodology rely on the primary literature and the visual analysis is lacking field work. Okay, thank you everyone to listen our presentation. Thank you.